Hi everybody, my name is Peter Vicari. I just want to give you a quick run through on users in Refernet and how to add users and manage them. So we're just logged in as a typical user in Refernet here in an agency, and to obviously look at users we click on the users button up here. It's worth noting that you have to be a primary user to see this navigation and to make these changes. So we can go up here and have a look at list all, see the users we've got in our agency. Got 2 in here, and I can go in and edit Susan Singh, for example. Click in here and update any of these boxes, including the username. Usernames are kind of quite important, particularly for anyone who's using Refernet in more than one place, because it's the one thing that will really identify the difference between logging into one agency in Refernet and another agency in Refernet. So creating a really logical username would be very important. So maybe something like Department 1 Susan or something, and Department 2 Susan would be quite sensible, so that she would know which agency she's logging in as, even though she might want to use the same email address in both cases, which would be fine. So that's kind of the username. Anything you change in here, you need to put your password into the bottom box and click on update before it'll have any effect. That's important to know. Here is also where you create primary users or not primary users. And as I was saying, a primary user gets to adjust and manage other users. They can also create reports as well. Those are the 2 main areas of difference. And you can also add a contact number in here as well. So if Refernet has in your network the 2-factor authentication switched on, entering a mobile number in here will mean that that will be triggered for this user, and it's quite important that that is in place, obviously, if you want 2-factor authentication to run, so that when somebody logs in, they will have to put in a code into their mobile phone associated with this number in order to log into Refernet. You can send a password link that triggers an email to this email address and enables the user to change their password. You can upload an avatar, an image of yourself, or the user here. You choose the file, then upload it, and as I said, in each case you need to be putting your password in here when you make these changes and updating them. Then you've got a language display sometimes, depending on your system, and that's that probably covers the editing of a user. So if we go back and look at, we can just click straight on Add User here, or you can go via the list and click on Add. It's pretty much the same thing. You're just going to add the details, decide whether a primary user or not, and click on Add New User. And as I said, it's really important you get the username, as a kind of sensible one. And it is important to know when you're adding a new user into Refernet, you need to give them their username. The email that goes off when you add a new user does not include the username. It's a security feature, and it's important therefore that you just maybe copy and paste that username into a separate email to give it to them when you're putting a new user into the system. There are some things to just talk about with passwords, etc. When you create when a new password is created in the system, you will be required to have, and I'm just going to bring a little screen in here, a PDF that we've got. This is a little document that we've put together and explains something about some of the security features around the users. Particularly, it requires different numbers, different types of characters, and a minimum number of 9 characters when you create a new password, and this will happen as you fill in the kind of user password when you're creating the new password. It's important to note that you only get 5 attempts when you're typing your password in, having set it, before the system will lock you out. So please make sure you've got it recorded properly. I mean, ideally in some sort of password system is what we would suggest, as they're very secure and not so prone to errors as writing things down or whatever. Couple of things. Password resets. You can reset the password for a user, if you're a primary user, but you can only do that a couple of times in 24 hours. It's important to note, and if you're sending out that password reset and there's, say, two-factor authentication in place, the new user or the users having their password changed, it's important for them to understand that the text message that comes with the code for that two-factor authentication, it can take 10 minutes sometimes to arrive. So it's really important that they have patience to wait for it and don't keep trying to reset it, because it will only, you can only do it twice. So just be patient. This covers the username as we talked about. Two-factor authentication, again, it's an important feature that you may have enabled in your system or you may not, and that mobile phone number, when you put it into here, will trigger two-factor authentication if it's been switched on for the system, but you need to ask your administrator about that. And that really covers it. That's really what it's all about, to add and manage users. I hope you find that helpful, and thank you for watching.